welcome back to my channel. As you know, I'm Naomi Robinson, the Black Travelista, and this is my video telling you all about how I reached the decision to move and leave England and how I chose the country that I ended up wanting to move to. So, from my last video, if you've watched it, if you haven't watched it, go and watch it now and then come back to this video. My last video I explained to you why I decided to give up the UK for Ghana, and this video is more about why I chose Ghana. So firstly, just to let you know, I grew up in the UK to a Jamaican mum and dad. My father was a Rastafarian, so during my growing up he always taught me about black history. He taught me about the importance of knowing your history. He taught me about the importance of, you know, knowing yourself as a black woman growing up in the UK. He taught me about knowing like the trials and tribulations and the way that, you know, the West is against black people and how we do have it a lot tougher living in the West. And he also taught me about repatriating back to Africa. So if you know a lot of Rastafarians, they always talk about repatriation, which always go back to the motherland. It's something that they teach a lot in Rastafarianism. So growing up, like I said, my dad used to teach me about stuff like that. And one thing that stuck to me is that my dad used to always say to me, there'll be one day when you won't be able to leave the country. They're going to lock down the city. They're going to lock down the borders and you won't be able to move. He used to teach me about the New World Order and all stuff like that from a young age. So that always stuck in the back of my head. And I used to always say to myself, I don't want to be stuck in the UK or in this country when things like that happen. So I remember about a couple of years ago, and I remember that subject came up and he says to me, you know, have you ever thought about moving, or have you thought about what you're going to do? And I was like, yeah, I do want to move, and kind of thing. And it was kind of thought-provoking, that conversation, because I knew that as the year 2020 came upon us, things were going to change, kind of thing. I'm quite intuitive, I meditate and stuff, so I'm very in tune with myself and my, you know, with my higher self. And about in 2017 I started becoming very self-aware, and I started doing a lot of research into things like Africa and where our heritage is from and stuff like that. But then I didn't, at that point I was still kind of up and down in regards to where I wanted to go. So I decided to travel for a bit. So first place I decided to go to was Canada and Miami. Canada, because I heard that it was easy to get a British citizenship if you're from England, sorry, not British, a Canadian citizenship if you're a British citizen. So I thought, okay, then let me go to Canada and Miami. So I booked a ticket, I think it was a 3-week trip on my own to Canada. From Canada I would go to Miami, stay in a hotel, then go to see family who were in Miami, then go back to Canada. So going to Canada, you know, I heard that it would be a nice place to like grow children, and it's very spacious, it's very clean and stuff like that, which it is. One thing that I didn't like about Canada was that in the winter, they have the same seasons as England, but in the winter it's very cold, and in the summer, you know, they have normal summers like us, but in the winter it's very, very cold, like minus 10, 15 and stuff like that. And I can't even cope with English weather. The British weather, I hate it. Anyone who knows me knows that I hate the British weather. I'm always constantly complaining about it. So I went there anyway, and it was really, really nice, very spacious, like I said, not much to do. You know, I didn't think there was much for me to do. I found it a bit boring, and it was like leaving the West for the West. It was just like, it felt like I was in England, but very diverse in regards to nationalities and stuff. And yeah, I liked it, but I was like, I don't know about this. So whilst there, I met somebody who was also Jamaican, so she kind of showed me the spots to go. So we went out partying and stuff like that. But at that point in life, I wasn't really a party girl. So if I'm going to a country, it has to have something like, you know, I have to be able to be outdoors. I'm a very outdoorsy person. I love like the sun, I love nature, stuff like that. So that's what I'm about. So going to Canada, I was kind of, okay then, it was there at the back of my mind, but I didn't think it was somewhere I could go to live. So I was there for a week, and then I went over to Miami, flew over to Miami, and Miami is beautiful. It's you know, it's just beautiful to look at. You know, you got a lot of, you know, you got a lot of Spanish people there, a lot of black people there, so it's a lot more, not as diverse as Canada, but you know, I felt at home. I went there on my own, obviously, and like I kind of signed up with like a group that went out, that done like bar crawls and stuff to different clubs, like Club Cameo, Club Live and stuff, and you know, it's nice. Like I could see myself falling. I fell in love with it. I did fall in love with it because, and I think what I fell in love with is that it's much more beautiful compared to the UK. So it was a step up from Canada and the UK, but it still wasn't exactly what I wanted, if you get what I mean. It was a step up. So I could see the differences in regards to the weather, the beach, you know, the place was beautiful, you meet a lot of nice people, and it was a lot more black people, but it still wasn't for me. Whilst I was there, I went out with my cousins, because I've got a lot of cousins out there, I've got aunties there that live in Miami, and I went out with them, and you know, it was really, really nice. But the culture, I don't know, I still felt like it's the West, isn't it? It's no different to being in England. Obviously the weathers and stuff and a different type of environment, but it's still like, America has a lot of crime. Where my auntie lives, she went down the road, there's Ku Klux Klan, like there's all that stuff that still goes on. There's still a lot of racism, and with what's going on in the world, I thought if I was to be in Miami and have children, have a black son, how would that work? And just even the fact that, you know, people in America, you know, still have issues with being stopped and all these police brutalities that are going on. I thought it's not somewhere that I can come and live comfortably and free. I wanted to go somewhere and live free and comfortable, and that wasn't the place. So as much as I loved it, it wasn't the place for me. So I decided to go on to Dubai. I went to Dubai, I think it was, I went to Miami in September 2016, and I went to Dubai in March 2017 for like a little birthday present to myself. So I thought, okay then, let me go to Dubai, because I've heard loads of good things about Dubai in regards to getting jobs. You know, it's really, you know, it's a really nice place, very cosmopolitan. You know, it's a quite strict country, but I'm not really one to, I don't mind abiding by a country's rules, because I think that, you know, that's what kind of keeps the civilization in. It's a civilized country, so I think that's what keeps Dubai the way it is. So I didn't mind doing that, and also when I went there, I tried to dress really dignified. I always wore long skirts and stuff, and just thought I'd, you know, somebody else's country, do what they do. So I went to Dubai, stayed in an amazing apartment in around the marina, the Dubai Marina. And, you know, every day I went out jogging, you know, around the marina. It was really, really hot, so the weather was great. And I felt safe. One thing I can say about Dubai, I felt very, very safe. Like, I didn't feel any way of going out at night, walking at night. Like, I think in Dubai, the penalties are so high in regards to if you do something, any sort of petty crime, there's no point, they just don't do it. So, like, on a daily basis, I go down to the marina, I go down to, I think it's DBR, where, like, the strip around the beaches. I went to, like, you know, the usual spots, Cheesecake Factory. I sit out by the beach and I just kind of watch the world go by, and I really, really enjoyed it. It's beautiful, clean. You see people polishing around the trees and stuff. Like around the trees, they have like the trees are kind of like their own little frame around it, like a metal frame. And around the frame, they'd be polishing, like polishing the frame. It was just really clean. Didn't see no form of rubbish on the floor. When you went onto the tubes, the trains, you weren't allowed to eat on the train. So I was on the train one day and I took out a bottle of water because I was thirsty and it's hot. Everyone was like, no, 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 no. And it showed me the sign. So you can't even drink on the trains. So that's how clean it is. So I went to the mall and stuff like that. What else did I do? I went to a place called Miss Lily's, which is like a Jamaican, a Caribbean restaurant, themed restaurant. And I just felt at home. It was really, really nice there. And what else I did? I went out to, what's he call it? There's a place, it's like that big, the Atlantis. So I went to the Atlantis Hotel. One night I got an Uber to the Atlantis Hotel, and I went to a club and I was dancing and I met so many people there. So, you know, traveling alone, that's what one thing I can say, you get to meet a lot of people, a lot of great people, and you make new friends. So whilst I was there, I enjoyed it. I must say I did enjoy it, and I found it really, really nice. But I didn't see many people that looked like myself. I know they said there's a black community there, but at the same time, I don't know. I felt that for me, there's no nature. That's another thing. I like nature. I like to see greenery. And in Dubai, it's very, very rare that you see stuff like that. Like, you have the palm trees and stuff that they've brought in, but I like to go to like big fields and just be out there in nature, just surrounded by trees. I don't know, I get a feel this. I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like I'm free. I feel like I'm part of the earth. It just kind of just takes me back to, you know, what we're about, because we're of nature. That's what we are. So we're of this earth. So that's what I love. So, you know, I left Dubai and I thought, yeah, I liked it, but I don't know if it's a place where I want to go and live. So that was March 2017. And as I mentioned in the last video, that year I booked to go to Ghana Escapes, which is held by a friend of mine called Harm K, and he does a yearly trip to Ghana, where he takes a group of people. The flight, so you book for your flight, your accommodation, and you get a wristband for all the events going on in Ghana. So I booked for that, and I was so excited because I thought, you know what, I'm going to first step foot in Ghana for the first time. And the mad thing is, like, I already felt that I was at home. I had never stepped on the soil of Ghana, but I knew I was going to love it. I just knew. So that year, you know, I got ready, got all my stuff packed, and we travelled to Ghana. And as soon as I landed, I just felt it. I was like, you know what, this is the place. I felt similar to how it felt when I stepped in Gambia, and even when I stepped in Jamaica for the first time. So, you know, there's a whole load of us, you know, it was really exciting, you know, the vibes are high, the atmosphere is just like, everyone's just obviously just really excited to be in the motherland and stuff. And we got there at night, and the first time up the morning when I woke up and I looked out, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm home. That's how I felt. I felt like I'm at home kind of thing. So, you know, we had like a welcome party, and during the welcome party, the people who do like drumming and dancing and stuff like that, and everyone's drinking and just kind of socialising and getting to know each other, and that was nice. And then, you know, we had throughout the holiday, we done like excursions. We went to like Jamestown. We went to where else did we go? Did we go to Mokolo Market? We went to markets and stuff, and like basically during the trip they kind of show you have a daytime, so you go out during the day and show you like the local stuff and the history of Ghana, and then at night you do like the clubbing stuff. And even the clubbing, like when I went out, when I seen the people, everyone just looked like me. When I woke up in the morning, I walked down the road and get a coconut, and I just felt like I was at home. I felt free as I was walking, like I'd been to Ghana like 100 times over, but I hadn't. It was my first time in Ghana, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like this is my home. This is home. And then after that, throughout that year, I travelled back and forth to Ghana like many times. And I started going there on my own, so I went there on my own, and whilst I was on there, I met, one time I was on the plane and I met a friend, and you know, he's my friend to this day. I met so many great people, and like, what I realised is that, like I said before, being Jamaican, or of Jamaican Jamaican origin, should I say, most Jamaicans are Ghanaians that were just brought out, were taken from Jamaica, were taken from Ghana during slavery, and then were dumped in Jamaica. Yeah, dumped in Jamaica more or less, kind of thing, and that's just kind of find their way. So where my dad is from in Jamaica, is St. Elizabeth. Well, his dad's from St. Elizabeth. So around that region there's a place called Maroon Town, and like I mentioned in my last video, there's still people like Ghanaians that have kept up the tradition, so as they never gave up that tradition in regards to speaking Tree, the foods and stuff like that. So when you go to Ghana or you go to Jamaica, either, you'll find that a lot of our foods are very, very similar, and that's another thing that kind of was comforting to me, because I felt like I was just going from home to home. And then like I said, the people were amazing, you know. And what I found with Ghana is that I found that even though there's a side of it that's very, very authentic, is if you're from the West, certain foods and stuff are still accessible, and certain ways of living. So they've got a lot of whole food places. They've got a lot of places like Holland and Barrett, which in England is a place where you buy a lot of your like your healthy foods and stuff. You have like your nuts, your vitamins and stuff like that. So they've got a lot of places like that. I take a lot of stuff like chlorella, spirulina and stuff like that, and I got hold of a lot of that stuff. So that was a thing that what I liked, is that I felt that I could go to Ghana and still live the life that I lived, not live the complete life, but I could still access a lot of the stuff that I accessed in England. So that was one of the things that I really loved about Ghana, as well as the people and the culture. Very similar to the culture that I grew up in, which is Jamaican culture. So there's much similarities. I was fell in love with Ghana after the first time I went, and then I just kept on going back and forth until the December 2018, when I thought, yeah, this is going to be my time, I'm going to stay in Ghana now. And of course I ended up coming back, but I knew that Ghana, and I know that Ghana is my home. Like I said, once this lockdown's over, I'll be going back to Ghana, and I'll be also flying to Tanzania first before I go to Ghana. And that's just to see, like, you know, what other opportunities there are, because Africa is such a big continent. And I think that, you know, even though I could say that Ghana is going to be my base, I still want to travel to other African countries and see how I can help out and see what opportunities there are. So yeah, so like I said, I've been to Kenya, I've been to Gambia, and I've been to Ghana, but Ghana is one that resonated with me, with my soul, with my spirit. And I believe that is because of my ancestors. I do strongly believe my ancestors kind of called me to that part of the world. And like, what I'm going to say is that if you are at a point in your life where you say, you know, you want to move, which I think that a lot of us should be doing right now, go and explore. Try different countries in Africa. Try and find out about your history in Africa, because I know that a lot of people from the Caribbean are from different parts of Africa. So like I said, you get a lot of Jamaicans who are of Ghanaian heritage. I hear that a lot of I think it could be Bayesian people are more of Nigerian heritage. I don't know how true that is, but try and find out where your bloodline comes from, whether it's Ghana, it could be Nigeria, it could be Sierra Leone, it could be the Congo, it could be Benin, it could be Ivory Coast. There's so many places in Africa. Like I said, most Caribbeans are from West Africa, but then I've also seen that people who have done their DNA, who have been from America, they found that they had like Tanzania, like there were parts of them were from Tanzania, Kenya and stuff like that, because I think there was times when Kenyans and East Africans were also enslaved, kind of thing. So, you know, it happened all over Africa. It's just that we don't hear from it as much, because the transatlantic slavery was one of the biggest forms and long-lasting slaveries which took part on the west coast of Africa. So that's why many of us will find that we are of West African heritage. So like I said, like, going back, go and do your research, travel, go to different countries and see what is for you. I only travelled to one African country at that point when I was trying to figure out where I'm going, and I went to, like I said, Canada, Miami and Dubai, and I realised that they weren't for me. And choosing Ghana was one of the best things I could do. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's worth it, because right now in this world we don't know what we're coming up against as black people. We've seen all the stuff that's been happening on the news, and it's not new. That's the thing, it's not new. My dad has been telling me this from since I was a child, from since I was like 12, 13, talking about repatriation, giving me my history about, you know, where we come from, letting me know that most places on this earth most places on this earth had black people there first, going back to Southeast Asia, going back to Asia, the whole of Australia. There's people like the Tasmanians that were totally wiped out, totally gone, a race of black people that you'll never see again, because they totally wiped that race out. So we are from all over, we're everywhere. And even if your place is not it may not be Africa, it could be the Caribbean, it could be South America, because places like Colombia, Cuba, Brazil's got the biggest black population outside of Africa. and then it goes down to places like I said, Brazil, Colombia, Cuba, Venezuela, trying to think what other, and then obviously you've got like Jamaica, St. Lucia, all the Caribbean islands, you've got Guyana. There's so many places that we are, black people are, and are, you know, predominantly blacks. So if that's what you want and that's what you're looking for, then go and travel, go and find a few places. But at the moment I feel like with what all that's going on, there's not going to be that much time to do that. Like, you might have to just kind of meditate on something and ask the ancestors and just wait for them to answer and give you, you know, where it is that you should go, because we are running out of time kind of thing at the same. But that's what I believe kind of thing. So sometimes you've got to just pray on it. You've got to ask the ancestors to guide you and let you know where it is that you're meant to be. Where is your homeland? Where is it that you're meant to repatriate to? Where are you meant to go and help? Give your helping hand, because like I said in my last video, we're also from the West. We've built so many skills, and what we need to do is go back home to Africa and help rebuild, you know, what was taken, help kind of build the future for our future kings and queens, because we don't want our youth to be leaving Africa to come to the West and have to be, you know, have to be subjected to that sort of living, to that slave labour that we've had to put up with. Like, I was in England, I've been in England all my life, and I got to a point where I thought, I'm fed up of this, like going to work every single day, being part of that cycle. I've had enough. And when I go to Africa, I feel alive, I feel I'm happy, I'm at my happiest. So like, going back, and before I end this video, I just want to say, you know, follow your destiny, follow your truth, and don't just get stuck in the rut. Don't be a hamster on the wheel. Just keep on, just going round and round and round without knowing where you're actually going. You know, sit down, think about it, meditate on it, and make a decision and make that move. You know, weigh up the pros and cons to why moving will be beneficial for you and your family. It's not just about us. I ain't just moved about myself. I've moved for my family and my friends. I'm trying to pave a path so it makes it easier for other people to come to the motherland, because I know it's not that easy. But as a person that's been travelling for such a long time alone, with friends and to different parts of the world, and someone who has studied history, like I've studied a lot of our history and kind of understand that, you know, repatriation is the only way. So my camera just cut out because it said it was overheating. So as I was saying, I can't remember what I was saying now, but just make sure that you, like I said, as I was saying, I'm trying to pave the way for my family, friends, and those that who don't find it as easy just to get up and go. I'm a get up and go person. I've been like that for the whole of my life. So getting up and just going and trying new things is nothing to me. So I want to pave a way for those that don't find it that easy, those that don't understand different things, including like getting a visa for Ghana, knowing the best places to stay when you go and visit Ghana, knowing the best places to go and live if you want to go and live in Ghana, you know, where you can go and buy your foods from, where you can go and buy traditional, you know, foods such as yam, plantain and stuff like that, because all them sort of foods are ate in Ghana as well. So I'm just trying to make that gateway, make that pathway to make it, you know, for others as well as myself. So just make sure that you start making some choices right now, because time is running out, people. But Africa is the way forward. It's the motherland. It's a land of richness. God bless that land with everything that we need. And the ancestors bless that land with everything that we need. Everything that we need is there. They've made sure it's abundant in minerals and food for us. So go and utilise it and go and help your fellow brothers and sisters to get through and to get back to the motherland as well. So anyway, for today, that's it from me. But like I said before, if I didn't say it before, I can't remember, but go and like, comment and subscribe and send this video. And if it helped you, let me know if it helped you, and also let me know what other videos you want. I'm still at the beginning of this journey of kind of teaching you, not teaching you, but letting you into how I went about my move and, you know, what I'm about and my current journey. But anyway, that's it from me for now. Bye.